So ever since my career started, the contents in my camera bag and the camera bag itself have changed. So I'm gonna show you a little bit of what I carry now and how I use it on a day-to-day basis, especially in productions such as testimonials, client work, and freelance creative work in general. If you've known me for the last couple of years as a creative, or I work alongside you, or even seen some of the videos that I posted previously in the channel, you know that I used to shoot with Sony. Now I felt like with Sony I had reached essentially everything that I could have done with that camera, and it was time to move on to bigger and better gear that suited me for the task at hand and for the type of films that I wanted to do moving forward. Whether it was client work, short film documentaries, I needed something that was a little bit more flexible, something that had a bigger learning curve, and something that really pushed me as a creative and pushed me to learn a little bit more about the craft. I shot and recorded everything before with an A7 III and the Sigma 2470. That was basically my go-to, and I was heavily invested in the Sony gear and glass, and if it wasn't for my dad, it would have been really hard for me to really let go of all that equipment. My dad's heavily invested in Sony too, so it's an easy transition to sell him all my equipment and basically start fresh and use that money to upgrade to bigger and better cameras. At the time, I was in a full-time position as a director of photography, and everything that we used in that job was basically black magic. So that's one of the reasons why I fell in love with this camera, the image quality, and what I could really do and push my footage to do. So I decided to make the jump, get a Pocket 6K Pro. On the type of footage that I've been able to capture with this camera, I mean, from dynamic range to image quality, you're shooting in 6K, also shooting with larger files. So being able to work in a raw format of video has been incredible. The flexibility is insane. I'm able to push the images and the footage that I capture to basically whatever I'm able to imagine. So that has really inspired me in terms of editing and post-production. It was a learning curve at first. Getting used to pulling manual focus wasn't an easy thing. I mean, it wasn't the worst thing that could have happened, but it did have a sort of learning curve when it came to, knowing when to pull it and when to stay on focus, on top of manually trying to balance yourself with the camera. I won't get into the details of everything that really changed with the camera and what my full experience has been going from a Sony system that basically did everything for me over to something as big and hefty and as big of a change as a 6K Pro. I'll save that for another video, but that has been essentially my A-cam for all my shoots, and that's the camera that I shoot on the most. It was hard for me to really find a different camera that inspired me in terms of photography and something that I could use alongside my Pocket 6K Pro in terms of a B cam. I could have gone the route of getting another Pocket 4K, but I really needed to do something with photos as well, as I am both a filmmaker and a photographer. So I needed a sort of hybrid camera that really fit with everything that I wanted to do and with the image quality that I wanted to get. And I've been shooting on Fujifilm before. I had a X-E3, eventually I upgraded to the X-T4. It's basically what my second camera has been alongside the Pocket 4K, and it's been an absolute blast, not only in terms of photography, but is what I think is the perfect camera for my needs, at least, that pairs perfectly fine with my 6K Pro. Shooting f-log gives me a little bit more versatility in terms of color grading, and I can make my 6K Pro basically match to anything with a little bit of patience and learning a little bit more about color grading. X-T4 has been absolutely fantastic in terms of photography. I mean, learning and using the film simulations, the pixel count has been definitely higher than the Sony A7 III, so the images are sharper, and on top of that, the Fuji glass is just absolutely insane. So in terms of reliability for both systems, it works perfectly great because I'm able to grab my Canon glass and adapt it to my Fuji lens, because I don't have a lot of Fuji lenses. I have a 56, a 35, and then the 16 and 55. So one's a little bit more for portrait, the 35 is a little bit more for like everyday like street photography, And then obviously the 16 and 55 is just like do all for video and for photos. It's been amazing. Now, as I progressed and I've been in a couple shoots and I really started to use both of the cameras like on a constant basis and seeing how they work together, I really started to think about what it would be like bringing on a third camera and what that third camera would be and how it would fit on the workflow that I had already gotten used to in terms of filmmaking. And that's when Fuji really answered me and announced that they were coming with the XH2S. And that's basically when, just a couple days ago, I decided to pull the trigger and get the H2S. And I've been putting it through some tests, and I don't have a full final review on the camera, but just in terms of reliability with using my Fuji lenses that I already have alongside, again, all my Canon glass with the adapter, it has been absolutely amazing. I already took it on a freelance event that I needed to cover and everything turned out great. The shots look great. I shot an f-log 2 and the autofocus felt a little bit faster than the X-T4. It really answered that question for me about what that camera looked like. Basically, the idea behind it was, how can I get or find a camera that basically gives me everything that my X-T4 offers in terms of picture quality and video quality, and at the same time gives me a little bit more in terms of video that's a little bit closer to my 6K Pro. It's absolutely amazing. Obviously, you have to get a CFast Express card in order to unlock that, but just having that ability in a small compact body like the X-T4, it's absolutely amazing. One of the downsides for the 6K Pro is the fact that it's a little bit bulkier, and in a sense you do have to rig it out to get like the full potential, I would say. If my 6K Pro had a baby with my X-T4, it would basically be the H2S. All three of those cameras basically cover me in everything, and not only do they give me everything that I want in terms of quality and image quality and everything else, but they also inspire me to change my craft, and they inspire me to get photos that I know I'm capable of getting, and they basically get the image that I have in my head and they get it out quicker. There's definitely better things out there for everyone. It didn't feel like I was producing something in less quality just because I didn't have those cameras and I didn't have those tools anymore. In fact, I think my quality jumped a little bit higher because I was able to work with equipment that really pushed me to my limits, and that along the way taught me more about my craft than what I really wanted in terms of image quality. If anything, it's pushed me to find myself a little bit more as a creative. So in terms of equipment, yes, could I have better equipment? Of course, we can always have better equipment, but you need to have the equipment that really inspires you to have, a better story or better quality or better ideas in terms of, shooting and creativity. I hope I was able to give you a little bit of a different idea or a different aspect of everything that's out there. And I feel like it's a little bit unique because it's not like the standard for everything. Not everyone's gonna shoot like me or edit like me, but I feel like that's what inspires me to make videos like this, so I can hopefully inspire you guys who are watching to break the mold and go out there and find something that really inspires you. So thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like if it's inspired you along the way, and make sure to hit that sub button, and remember to create at all costs.